28 of them are white. Survey of sociology. The instructor, a young African-American man, talks. Some people say race is a proxy for class. That middle-class people are afraid of poor people, and the assumption is that blacks are poor. A girl in front raises her hand. She says, I think racism is wrong. The instructor pauses, nods, says, okay, good for you. Another hand goes up. A boy in the middle, he says, I agree, racism is really wrong. The instructor nods his head. Oh yeah, he says, racism is wrong. Then he looks directly at me. I've made this mistake of isolating myself on the far left of the lecture hall. I'm an easy target. The instructor asks me, who would you rather live next to, Bill Cosby or Chuck D from Public Enemy? The whole room erupts. Yeah, live next to Chuck D. Woo! Oh, that's funny. Why, asks the instructor. Why is living next to Chuck D so funny? He looks back at me, expecting an answer. I don't know what to say. I only say, See, I got cable when I was 13. I'm not bright. I have seen the movie Do the Right Thing. Public Enemy's Fight the Power, and the soundtrack sounds aggressive, although I've never listened to it closely. You see, I stopped listening to hip-hop, caught too much guff, and by guff I mean punches in my face. And I don't know much of anything, but I know the title of the Public Enemy album that just came out. I know that, so I say, well, you know, make an art called Fear of Black Planet is pretty aggressive, don't you think? I mean, geez, nobody wants to get killed or taken over. Bill Cosby would stop by with a pudding pop or whatever. Chuck D would stop by with an Uzi or something. The instructor shakes his head slowly. He says, you have never listened to Public Enemy. Where are you from, he asks. Southwestern Wisconsin. He pulls out his wallet, pulls out a 10, hands it to me, says, get out of here. Go buy Fear of Black Planet, listen to it, come back and tell me what you think. You cannot imagine the isolation. The closest real city is not a city and is half hour away. It's called Dubuque, Iowa. It's not pretty. There are hills everywhere around this town, and that means you don't get shit for TV reception. A little two-lane highway through rock bluffs and farm fields leads you to Madison, Wisconsin, 70 miles away. Madison is like Mecca, beautiful land of the spirit somewhere and possibly far. The nights are silent, except for the sound of tractors. The days are silent completely, except for the sound of Mrs. Isley next door singing Crystal Gale songs. And then cable TV, MTV. What are they wearing? Are those pants leather? Michael Jackson does the moonwalk. He is alien and amazing. I practice 4 hours a day. Pretty soon I can spin on my back. Programming piped in from the coast. After watching both Break-In and Beat Street, I know I'm more of an East Coast breaker. I'm into Community, not Stardom. My crew consists of Grandmaster Craig, who smells like sausage, Jason O, and Buck E. I've learned a head spin along the side of the highway to Madison, Wisconsin, hoping to attract a talent scout. We think we're good. We call ourselves the Break-In Fixation. My mom told us that we had an anal fixation. We appropriated her language, innovated. We made crude t-shirts that depict a white man dancing on an urban street. They are pretty shirts, Break-In Fixation. The Department of Defense. Change is in the air over there. New weapon systems, state-of-the-art technology, transformation. It's high time to move from conventional and nuclear to a futuristic fantasy killing machine. But the key is people, or rather the crazy-ass robotic fantasies made real. In the California desert, individuals, corporations, university engineering departments are all racing peopleless motorcycles, ATVs, Humvees, Volkswagen Touaregs, and little frightening science fiction-like robots too. These machines negotiate a 150-mile course without human intervention. No touch, no see, no drive. These machines think for themselves, roll by themselves, hone in on the goal by themselves, and eventually will be taught to attack by themselves. Killer robots. They're going to kill people without putting American men and women at risk, regardless of color. Americans safe, one people under God. Unless, of course, the robots are taught to kill American men and women, and babies of forcible colors. And one time, in 1983, on the highway, Grandmaster Craig, having just pressed play on the K-Tel City Sounds cassette, a pickup truck drove by, slow, farm kids, high school kids. They must have had cable too, because they knew enough to shout, "Hey, N-word, get the F-bomb off the road." And we yelled back, "F you, honky! F you, cracker!" And the truck stopped. The kids jumped out, pushed DJ Craig down, kicked over the ghetto blaster, then bloodied my nose, and put a traceable fist print on my sternum, a blow that took my wind away and made me certain I would die. Even though I was almost 14, I cried in front of my mother. And with cable television, I learned something of what life was like in the Bronx, where breakdancing battles broke out in subway tunnels. I never bought Public Enemy's Fear of Black Planet. I dropped that sociology class immediately, that day, $10 in my pocket, because the instructor, Mr. African American Activist, made me uncomfortable. And I purchased a case of Old Milwaukee beer, which was, and this is sick, $9 at the time. I drank a fucking lot of beer, I'm ashamed. Here are some lyrics from Public Enemy's Fear of Black Planet. I've been wondering why people live in fear of my shame or my high-top fade. I'm not the one that's running, but they got me on the run. Treat me like I have a gun. All I got is genes and chromosomes. Consider me black to the bone. All I want is peace and love on this planet. Ain't that how God planned it? There are video games that teach doctors to heal your heart. There are video games that help fire departments train personnel, help nursing schools train new nurses, help first responders react to natural and man-made disasters. And there are video games that teach soldiers to kill insurgents in urban streets, and video games that let kids rob, rape, murder, and learn to spell, and learn to add, subtract, multiply, and learn to make music, learn to orchestrate whole symphonies. And right now, in the California desert, there are SUV robots, no drivers, speeding toward far-off target. And this, someplace in 1983, there's me, aching heart, bruised chest, lying in a bed on a summer night, twisted in sheets of sweat, deciding not to be rural southwestern Wisconsin's first hip-hop legend. But there's still time, and anything is possible. Thank you. We're going this way. I'll just say